Oh man, we're finally here. This is phase 3. I'm finally so excited to make this video. I've been waiting. I'm like, man, when can I make this video? When can I make this video? But anyway, welcome to Scourge of the Skies, the ancient gods of darkness summoner. You're basically summoning Chetza, I think I'm pronouncing that right, which is a big giant nightmare bird titan, and Bodach, which is a pinnacle boss of darkness. So I think he's a darkness of god. I don't know the lore behind it, but I know he's like some champion of god of darkness or something like that. But with these two combined titans working together, with Chetza doing corrupting blood and Bodach doing heavy damage and perma-freezing enemies and pinnacle bosses alike, for this build I wanted to do something completely different and kind of make it like a solo companion build. I do have 4 companions total within this build. The bear, the raven, Chetza himself, and Wolfpack together. But other than those 4 companions, it's really just focused on the unique bots Chetza alone. So it's basically a Chetza and Bodach build, which is really super crazy. And the synergy with this build is absolutely insane. It's called Scourge of the Skies for a reason, because all their abilities, with Chetza's abilities alone, he does a lot of damage coming from the sky. With Bodach himself, all his abilities seems like it's coming from the sky, especially his little darkness AoE nuke bomb that just goes boom, like a nuclear bomb, which is really cool, like a really cool feature. And for ourselves, we also cast storms from the sky ourselves, and I'm going to demonstrate that a little bit. So I'm going to turn on Wolfpack here, and what's going to happen is that these Wolfpacks going to die in order, and when they die in order, it's going to give us Arcane Surge with a 100% uptime, and they're also going to be summoning a Thunderstorm. Also, they're going to be summoning Thunderstorms. So as you can see, you see the loop happening, and it's super cool. And it's going to keep doing this forever, on and on and on. And the whole point of this setup right here is for 2 things, is that we get the abyssal modifiers from the wolf packs when they die, and also the lightning storm itself, it's to also trigger Harbinger of Madness. So anytime that we hit a rare or unique boss, we'll be able to summon unstable apparitions. Same goes with Spark. So anytime we hit an enemy, we get to apply this little unstable apparitions, and they spawn. We're not using this for damage, and the added damage is nice, so you can add added damage if you want to. But the whole point of it is to use Exploit Weakness for your bear companion to always apply permanent physical damage taken to the enemies. Other than the Harbinger of Madness combo for the Spark and the Thunderstorm, it's going to be Kumak's Ring. So anytime that we hit an enemy, we get to double its enemy power. So this allows us to replace the red blade banner, so we can equip the Spectre and have more spirit and make our minions more stronger. You know, a better viable option. You know, give up a ring slot instead of giving up a shield slot Spectre, which is more powerful and something we definitely need. And especially we get to use Silk, which makes it a 7th link. With this build. But yes, with the Kumak Ring, this gives us the Arcane Surge, so anytime a minion dies, that's how we're getting our 100% uptime with Arcane Surge. And also, anytime that we're hitting or affecting minions, they're going to be hindered, so we don't need a hinder aura in this build. We're doing that ourselves, so not only that the enemies will be temp chained, enfeebled, they will also be hindered to be slower. And from Bodach's damage alone, it seems like his freezing power is super strong, like super crazy increased freezing power. So this ring alone, it gives a lot of damage and a lot of utility when it comes for this build. You know, it's very great. And also increase the cast speed for our minions if they do any cast speed. I think Chetza has 1 spell ability, I'm not certain, but it does help out a little bit. But that could be replaced with Spirit or something like that. And also I have applied armor to elemental damage for more damage and armor, so, you know, more defenses. But that's how I have this Kumak Ring. I got it for like 1 divine, so I was very lucky to have this. Very super strong, super strong. And you don't, and the cool thing is that you don't actually have to worry about the presence area. And the cool thing that you can do, you can even do it while you're playing a game. It's a little FYI tip. is that you can actually click on the presence tab, put it in your map section, and you can actually map like this. You can actually see your whole entire zone, this whole green zone of your presence. So yes, it is covering literally the whole screen. And even if we take off the ring, you're not going to notice a difference at all. So we take off the ring, the presence range is basically the same. It got a little tiny bigger, just a little bit, but not much. So this ring is not going to hurt your presence at all. A lot of people were really worried about using this ring because it's going to hurt your presence, but no. So the synergies that we set up with Bodach is the thunderstorm. As you see, enemies that are drenched in the storm have increased freeze buildup, which is very strong for Bodach, which he needs. And also we're running the aura support overwhelming presence, and what overwhelming presence does is that it reduces any enemies in your presence have reduced element threshold, and has reduced threshold of stun threshold. So when it comes to the bear and Bodach, bear does a lot of stuns and Bodach does like the freezing part. It's a very strong wombo combo in that regard, with the synergy with the thunderstorm and all that crazy shenanigans. And with the freeze and temp chains, if you're not familiar with overtime damage and how corrupting blood damage scales, temporal chains or slowing effects like that help increase the boost damage of corrupting blood. And with Chetza's corrupting blood is super overpowered, like insanely overpowered. And with Chetza, his passive ability is that his raw physical damage gets 600% average damage as corrupting blood, and that scales 10 times. So if you can get that scaled up to 10 times and you can get him doing like super insane damage, like really focusing on increasing his damage as high as you can, his raw damage, with all the combos going on with the freezing and the temporal chains, Chetza himself is going to be doing a lot of damage. And as you can see, I have to talk about the cons about this build because it's really buggy. As you can see, Chetza is not on the screen because that is due to a bug with the Mist Raven. So basically the Mist Raven comes from the chest piece and is taking up a companion slot. So they, I don't know if it's intended or what, but I don't know if they're going to remove that. So it's kind of like the Asmarian Wolf, that it doesn't take a companion slot, but it does take a companion slot. And the workaround with that is that anytime that you enter a map, you just have to disequip your chest piece, right click on Chetza to summon him, and put back your chest piece. When you're in your hideout, it doesn't work correctly, but when you're in the map, it does work as intended. So you don't have to worry about that at all. But it's something that I just wanted to point out when it comes to this build. And then you also have to do that with the Bodach helmet too, is that you have to re-equip the Bodach helmet itself because he doesn't summon at all. Those are the bugs that I've seen, is that every time that I enter a map, I always have to unequip the chest piece, and then I always have to unequip the helmet, and then I can start mapping. So that's the only negative drawback, is that you have to keep doing that. It's a very buggy build, but it works. Everything is working as intended. So I really hope they fix the Mist Raven so it doesn't take a companion slot, because it's not fun at all, and it's not that great of a bird. So I only use it for utility. As you can see, it has Cougar's Leech. So anytime that we command the Raven, so summon him, he does like some AoE explosion. We actually get Unholy Might Chaos damage, and that helps with our Abyss modifier damage, any damage that we're doing ourselves. Especially the Harbinger of Madness, it does increase the damage of the Harbinger of Madness. As you can see, the damage increased a little bit, but the DPS is only really good for like white mobs, trash mobs. It's not really that big of a deal. All this stuff is just used for utility, and especially the Mist Raven for the exploit weakness, so it can consume the stack of fully broken armor, so the bear can apply armor break again, and so we can scale that permanent increased physical damage on the target. So there's a lot of super crazy synergies going on, and I'm just trying to give it as much attack speed. You know, Rage 3 gives it increased attack speed if it's not on full rage, and rapid attack, um, which I should actually give it rapid attack 3 because I don't really care about the damage that much. But it's just something that I want to point out what's going on with the Raven. So everything with his build just combos and synergizes together. And with the Chetza Bird himself, he has Tekrod's Revenge on Infernal Legion, so he's a big walking bird that does great Infernal Legion damage. But also, when he goes to 0 life, he gets increased 40% attack speed and cast speed, and he gets Soul Eater. So when he starts going, because he's like a waddling duck in a sense, but once he starts DPSing and starts going crazy, he starts casting all his abilities super rapidly fast. So that's the way I have him set up, and hulking minions as well. So he's a big giant bird. You know, you see he's a little tiny bird, and now he's big bird. But yeah, everything combos together. It's super crazy. And even when it comes to Kumak's Rage, we double the enemy's power. And then with the chest piece, any enemies in our presence, they gain 1 Grueling Madness per second. And with the mace, it combos with Captain's Balance, which gives physical damage to our wolves, Mist of the Raven, our bear, and Chetza himself. So this actually does help with the raw physical damage, giving DPS to our companions. But not only that, enemies in your presence have additional power equal to the Grueling Madness. So we never have to do mace damage. We don't have to do any melee attacks. We don't have to do anything. The enemies only have to be in our presence. And as you know, our presence is our full screen. As you can see, is the indicator right here. So all we do is we have a full presence, and all we're doing, we're walking around holding 1 button, just using Spark. So it's basically a 1-button build. You just summon Spark. The whole goal of Spark is not to do damage, but just to affect Grueling Madness, and also double the enemy power from the Abyss Ring, and also trigger a Harbinger of Madness. So that's what it says with the Harbinger of Madness. Anytime you hit a rare monster, or if you hit a unique monster, it will always trigger unstable apparitions. We can read it again for itself. Draw out unstable apparitions when you hit a rare unique monsters when hit. So when you're casting a whole bunch of sparks, you know, that's a lot of, and all these sparks chain, by the way, so it hits the unique bosses or the rare monsters multiple times, and especially if there's a pack of extra monsters, it's just going to help out a lot. So yes, this is definitely the Scourge of Darkness, the Scourge of the Skies, the Gods of Darkness. It's super insane build. Everything is out on the mobile Linux. With the Mage Blood, you know, has basically focuses on the movement speed and resistances. I don't really need the Diamond Flask, so you can actually replace that for like another Abusement or armor or something else, or maybe another Quicksilver. But that's what I got. This Mage Blood is the one I found on its own, so I was very lucky to just get these stats alone anyway. My whole goal is to get all these builds done, so when the full release of this game comes in December, everyone can do whatever build that they feel like doing, and they can test it beforehand and be like, you know what, I kind of feel like being a curse bot, the Ancient Gods of Darkness. I'm going to do this build, or do my Immortal Wrathbreaker build. You know what, I want to be an Immortal Hyena Summoner. So I'm giving a whole bunch of options and choices. I'm not going to stop until all the builds are completed, everything's well organized, and basically everything's going to be ready for release, for the full release of the game in December. So that is it, guys, and y'all have a wonderful day.
my beloved. You will join them!